Okay, so rather doing clickbait, I'll give you the answer straight up. No, you should not buy the FDR unless you're a dirty, dirty CV main like myself. Otherwise, I really don't think it's enjoyable. I bought the ship. I'm a CV main. I don't see myself playing this that much. When the German CVs came out, I was pretty quick to try to get on the leaderboards for all of them within a couple of weeks, but for this, I'll just kind of play it as I want to, which probably won't be that often. But if you're still on the fence about it, or you want to know more about it, I bought it so you don't have to, and because I'm a dirty CV main. So real quick, looking at the aircraft, there's a common theme. There's a lot of them per squadron, 14 per squadron, 2 per attacking flight for the attack aircraft. They're slow, they're thick, they do a lot of damage. Same thing here, 14 per squadron, 2 per attacking flight. They drop 8 torps total, slow and thick. And the HE bombers, slow, thick, 14 per squadron, 2 per flight. And for all of these, the attack time between drops is absolutely insane, which we will see later. As far as the build, if you do decide to get this, we go Air Groups Mod 1, Engines Mod 1. For slot 3, normally I don't advocate taking Torpedo Mod 1, but like, what else do we have? We're going to make the bomber time even longer than it is, so I have to wait 5 minutes per drop, same thing with attack aircraft, and of course, secondaries. I guess you can go secondary memes with, initial range at 5 kilometers to 127, but it's not worth it. HE bombers, you really can't go wrong with any of these. I think the HE bombs are just massively destructive as far as getting your perma-fires, so I went with that. Slot 5, flight mod 1, pretty much get this on all CVs. And we're going to go all on health because the planes are slow as fuck as it is, so it's not like flight control mod 2 with the speed is going to do anything, and just don't take this. Please don't take this. For the build, pretty much a midway build, except I prefer having last gas, but you'll see in the gameplay video, but it's just not worth it. So we take so for tier 1, air supremacy, engine boost. Once again, normally don't like taking torpedo acceleration, but there's nothing really left you have with your skill points. Not only that, torpedo acceleration makes a little bit of sense on the FDR, just because you'll see with the drop pattern, but they excel against slow-moving or stationary battleships or super heavy cruisers, so sometimes dropping a little bit far out with faster torpedoes works out. Of course, improve the engine. Doesn't do much, but it does something. Aircraft armor, aircraft health, demolition expert, absolutely a must-have on the FDR, just given that you have the rockets and the bombers, which try to get those massive HE dots, and of course sight stabilization because the planes are slow as fuck. So without any further ado, let's take this out. Okay, so here's some FDR gameplay. This is a loss. It's a tough loss, but I think it gives a pretty good overview of the good, the bad, striking capability, damage harming capability, etc. So you see the team. Immediately going to put my CV into reverse. I'm worried about getting CV sniped here, so trying to avoid that. Look at the team. Okay, got some cruisers, got some DDs. The DDs themselves can't do a whole lot against them. Not really a fan of the FDR as far as DDs. So what I just did there was I immediately took off with rockets, called them, and then got more rockets, and I'm doing a pre-drop. The reason I did it like that is because you can't do a traditional pre-drop of 1 or 2 flights very easily, because as you can see, there's 24 seconds once the animation is done. So it's going to take a while if you do all your pre-drops. So this way, by doing that little take off, recall, take off again technique, only going into this guy with 7s. And as you can see, it takes a while to get to the target. And we're flying, and we're flying. Get some stuff spotted. See the buffalo. These rockets pretty good against cruisers, so we're gonna try to get a strike on this guy. As you can see here, the rockets, giant shotgun spread, not really ideal. You also have to want to make sure you start the drop soon enough. It takes a while, but still 25 pens, right? Did 11k, less a fire, can't complain. We're gonna take off the rockets again. And so the FDR's gimmick with its planes is large squadrons with large health pools, no heals. Sounds okay on the surface, right? But the planes are slow as fuck. So this means even though you have a lot of plane health, you're spending a lot more time in AA. So say goodbye to your squadron unless you run into a Holland. Guy asked me in chat, how's the FDR? Not a fan. Played like 5 games on it this morning, called it quits. So there's the Harugamo. You can sometimes get some decent rockets up on the Harugamo because it's so big, but I go in for the strike here. He's just not cooperating. He smokes up. So transition over here to the Buffalo, who's broadsiding, getting still. We're gonna get a decent hit on him. Again, 22 pens, minus K. And now we're just flying around waiting to be able to strike again. So successive drops are a good strategy to go to in the FDR, in that you strike one target and you're immediately flying to whatever your next target is to try to strike it, rather than flying around in an A. So you see me doing this right here with the Albemarle. Luckily he kind of turns a little bit broadside for me, let off the drop, and get the kill. So, once again, these rockets, not bad against cruisers. That's the main target. So already at 77 rocket hits. Too bad there's no American commander with faster plane regen. So right now you see the team, it's about even. We got a cap, we're capping another one, but it goes south pretty quickly. And so, as I'm sure you've seen, the plane's incredibly slow. This means it takes a long time to get to your target. So for me, this makes the ship boring, especially after playing so many games in the MBR recently. The low plane speed also means the ship will be near useless and competitive. You won't be able to project your combat power quickly across the map. Perhaps more importantly, enemy CVs will be able to chase down your planes and drop fighters that will lock onto your planes before you can get away. So we're flying here, the DDs. Typically, well, not too much AA, but we're spending so long in it, we're still taking pretty significant plane damage. See the Bismarck, and you think, oh good, a battleship's on by himself. Well, here's the bad part. The battleships can turn, and your planes are so slow that they can just turn into it. And the way the drop pattern is set up, it's not like an Audacious where you can pinpoint it, even if they're turning in, right? They're slow and they go widespread, and a lot of times there's a gap. Luckily, we managed to get 2 hits on the Bismarck due to no skill on our part, but gonna try to go in for another drop, given that he repaired the flood. Change CV positions. So here, I straight up mistake on my part. I started the drop too early. It takes some getting used to with these slow planes and their drop timing. Switch over to HE bombs since we haven't used those in a minute. Likely we get a couple. I get a torp on the Bismarck. going after the Yugamo here. Your HE bombs are really only semi-effective weapon against EDs, but it takes some timing. The bombs take a while to drop. They have to turn the right way. Even though I let him that much, he was still able to turn out of the drop pattern. Keeping this Yugamo spotted. Hopefully somebody shoots him. Eventually I just say, fuck it, drop a fighter. I'm gonna go after this Bismarck. Now this is the kind of ship movement you want to see when you're dropping a target in this ship, especially the HE bombs. Not moving, bow to stern. Get lots of nice bomb hits. There's a significant amount of damage at 2 fighters. Of course, you damage control, so we're going to try to come back, but this entire time, right? Ideally, you want to try to get out of the A and then come back once it hits around the 10-second mark, which I do, but I'm still taking a decent amount of damage from Harumo A and Kid A up there. Turns as I'm dropping and only 1 bomb hit. Not going to get the perma fire there. But he is by himself. I do have healthy planes, so contemplating trying to go back for that perma fire. And as you've seen, there's a metric fuck ton of time in between strikes. So besides making the game boring, it forces you to fly in and around AA with your slow-ass planes before you get off that other strike. Ideally, you want to fly out of the AA, but that isn't always possible depending on how the enemy ships are spaced out. So there we get 4 bomb hits, 12-ish K, but no fire. So here, coming backward towards the enemy is pushing. As you see, I'm staying relatively far back in this game just because you get spotted from orbit, and for whatever reason, and this just could be anecdotal, it just could be a bad day or a patch day, it seems like the autopilot on the FDR is noticeably worse than the other CVs. I don't know why. It isn't too bad open water, but to get anywhere near an island, it's gonna ram the island.
Attention, support that target.
And here we are, once again, waiting to get to the target. This is a common theme in the FDR. Honestly, you can farm a lot of damage in it, but it's a boring ship for me. Not a fan. So here we're trying to occlude ourselves with some of the A with the drop. FDR starting a bit in. The plan here was to try to hopefully have the Bismarck turn into some torps and fly out and go for another strike, but once again the planes are so slow they can just turn whatever way they need to dodge. The only useful thing this might be competitive, it might be good about making the enemy team turn, but in competitive you're going to have ships grouped together and coordinated AA defenses, so it's not going to work out despite the large plane health. So if nothing else here, I forced the Bismarck to sail in a straight line for a while, coming in for another strike. Drop it a little bit further out since he's turning in all the planes, and we're taking off again. And then we're waiting. Get a decent number of torp hits on the Bismarck. Once again, fly into the target, taking forever. Turning our CV out here due to the fact that we're in danger. Not looking so good for our team anymore. Down ships. We have a cap advantage, but it's not going to last long. Trying to get a strike here on the FDG. Not the best angle. Anticipating the turn, the speed, trying to get on that superstructure. We managed to get 2 hits in the fire. Getting that that CV out of dodge. So this is kind of the situation where the FDR thrives. Not so much the losing part, but they're pushing into you. They're not very much. They're worried about your teammates. If they're just worried about you, they can outturn your slow planes. Got another strike on the FDG here. Not gonna get the flood. Excuse me, the fire. He just popped his damage control, but we still get 3 pens for a little bit of damage. Waiting for the strike cooldown to go off. We hit 10 seconds. We start bringing it back in. Once again, that 10 second is just kind of the baseline, but as you see with him coming at us, our strike is pretty much ready right when it needs to be. Luckily, he's just bow to stern, not dodging, and we get those 2 perma fires, which helps. Now, mid to late game, once the AA is burned out, you can spend some more time in the AA aura. It's not as bad. So here, we're trying to get a strike with 1, maybe 2 planes on the FDG and try to proc a fire, proc a damage control. And we pick up the kill on the other FDG. Of course, he dodges the torps, and as well dodges some of our planes, but we still get the reset, and we get the fire. So as you can see from this point, we're gonna lose. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, but we gotta do what we can to keep farming some damage. So once again, another reason I don't like this ship is you can't really exert cap control, right? With pretty much any other CV, do a lot more in the sense of spotting EDs, killing EDs. Hell, even in the MBR, torps some stuff, but can't do a lot in the FDR. All these acronyms are going to start getting to me. So here we are. We still have some torp planes left, even though we don't have many left. We can still do some decent damage, given that this DeGroza, I think is how you say it. I know Torino's going to yell at me for that one. Given that he's by himself, in game, not a lot of AA, we can still get all 8 torp hits and a flood, and pretty much knock him out, despite the fact that we only have 4 planes in that strike. So at this point, there's 2 ships left. They have cap control. Best thing we can do is just try to get some more damage and some more kills. And as the enemy ship said, yes, that is a lot of torps for that drop. Hard to hit all of them, but it's very nice when you do. See here, Bismarck, gotta secure the kill. A lot of times kill securing the ship can go poorly just because if I'm in a Richthofen and I go for kill confirm, not steal, kill confirm, but somebody else takes him out, no big deal, I go to the next drop. If I waste the drop on that, or even go in for the drop and don't drop, I still have to wait the full 24-25 seconds in between drops. So this ship kind of dissuades you from getting those secures. So once again, ship by himself, like he's kind of worried about everybody else. So he's not doing a great job in trying to dodge these planes. Get a nice bow to stern throttle, bow to stern drop on. Actually really screw these, but I don't care that much. And we get a nice slice of damage fire. So as you can see, by myself, 12.5k. My days are numbered. At this point, just trying to get a drop on something, it's just not going to happen. We're going to try to go for the Georgia here at the end, but I'm going to die before I can kill him. It would have been the 4th kill and a little bit of extra damage, but time and health was just not on my side. So, hopefully that does a decent job of overview of the FDR, my opinions on it, and its gameplay. For me, it's just slow. It's not impactful outside of farming damage. You're pretty much a sky conqueror with torps, and yeah, that's about it. 191, 3 kills.